All right. Well, Rich, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, well, in this ever crazy world we're living in right now, we wanted to, make sure that we touch base with you guys, reach out to our retailers, our consumers that we care so much about, and I know you guys had a couple of questions on this stuff. So anything we can do to help, spread that information, that education on CBD, especially during these times, very beneficial. So thank you guys for having me. So, right off the bat, one of the things that we like to bring up to most people, because it is something that these 100+ other companies aren't in the realm of or haven't done in the past, is we are still 100% family owned and operated. In about 2011, Chelsea, Steve, and Alina, the family that started this, had a dog named Maddie. Maddie, I want to say at the time, is about 9 or 10. As many old dogs do, they go to the vet and they are told that they have achy joints and hips, and give them all these different types of medicines, and who knows how long you'll get with your animal. I think Steve will tell you that when he took Maddie home, he just kept looking at her and going, I feel like I'm giving you the death sentence by pouring on all of these meds to you. A few months into the conservative methods, CBD was introduced to them, and it blew away their results that they were currently seeing with anything conservative medicine-wise. So it was kind of that one specific moment that made them leave Florida, haul to Colorado, buy some farmland, start the farmland there, and from there we've grown into this big, beautiful, still family-owned business where not only do we do the farming there, but we also do our extraction. All of our picking, everything is done within about an hour of that farm, and it's done by us, which is really, really great. A couple of other things that make us much different than other companies out there is we actually have our own strain of CBD. So because we're family owned and operated, and we own our own farm and we own the rights to that farmland, we have our own strain of CBD that we've cultivated, I guess is the best word. PR33 naturally occurs with very, very low THC levels, lower than even the legal limits of 0.3%. And it also has naturally reoccurring high levels of CBD. So the beautiful thing with that is we don't have to spend any time, any extra processes thrown into the mix, just to get that desired product that everybody is looking for, with minimal of the psychoactive ingredient and maximum of that ingredient that is going to do all of those good things we expect CBD to do. Again, besides that, it comes down to the extraction facility being close by and us having hands on it. We also do third-party testing. So there is QR codes on all of our products where you can find our third-party testing results. And then I think another big thing for us is Pet CBD is all we do. For us, we wanted to have something that the pet parents had 1,000% confidence in. It's not something off of a vape shop. It's not something off of a CBD shop aisle. It is only found in your pet stores, and it is only made for your pets, and it is only made with that one strain of hemp, and we don't send it anywhere else but to the Pet Releaf box.
we touched on it a little bit when we were talking about, or when you were talking about how they started their company. But could you kind of maybe expand a little bit on what it is that makes CBD so effective for dogs that have like joint issues, like hip and joint, or a dog that's suffering from like anxiety? What is it that CBD brings to the table that like all of those other things, like, I mean, we've given our dogs glucosamine for years.
Yeah.
But the difference between giving your dog glucosamine and giving your dog CBD seems to be pretty drastic from my own experience.
Everything we had therapeutically that we could help animals with, and it's not a bad thing, it's just the way that we looked at things, it was treated with a Band-Aid. We had hip and joint issues, we gave glucosamine or conjoint in the hopes that it would kind of keep that area from getting any worse, if not, would just help slightly. Not really changing the overall way that the animal functions, their internal functions, the way they operate. Simply just kind of putting a Band-Aid on that wound and hoping that wound is fixed within a few days. I think where CBD, one, is way more effective, but also encompasses a lot other categories besides just like hip and joint pain, as you mentioned, is the fact that your body uses this stuff in a completely different way. So we ingest CBD. it functions with your endocannabinoid system. So a lot of people tend to believe that it just attaches to a receptor and it changes your body outright. That's not really what it does. What happens is it goes in, and the easiest way to explain it is you have this ECS system, this endocannabinoid system running through your body that really hasn't been spoken to in a very, very long time. We make stuff similar to CBD in our body, but we make very minimal levels of it. Your body barely even recognizes that it has that there. So what happens is when you start introducing it from an outside source, all of a sudden your endocannabinoid system, which is basically your messaging system in the body, starts working and functioning at a much, much higher rate and having conversation with itself. So instead of bumping your elbow and your body just sending all of the Band-Aid reactions, send everything you can over there. This is what happens when we bump our elbow or when we have a pain or when we have an injury. What happens with CBD and the ECS system when it's opened up is then your body's allowed to have more of a conversation of how bad was the injury? Was it really considered an injury? Did it harm me in any way? Did it hurt me? Do I need just pain relief? Do I need anti-inflammatory properties with it? And I think that's why not only it covers so many different categories, but why it works so well, because now your body's actually a better communicator instead of just, well, I hope that that's gone in a few days. We seem to focus on the two things that are major for most people, anxiety and hip and joint pain. And those are going to be our two biggest categories that we see ailments in and that we see people wanting to change the pet's life under. But the other things that we like to tell people is that this is going to help with anything neurological. This is going to help with any appetite issues, any pain issues in general. But bigger than just pain, it's more than anything, it's an anti-inflammatory. And when we say that, we try to make sure that people understand that, yes, it's going to help oil up those joints. It's going to help with mobility and things of that nature. But we've actually also seen cases where animals with masses, animals with tumors, animals with any type of growth that is obstructing them from eating or obstructing them from living their daily life to their best abilities, we see this help reduce that as well.
There's a lot of talk about like full spectrum, not full spectrum, having THC in there, not having THC in there, what's the right amount? What is Pet Releaf's like take on it? Where do you guys stand?
Yeah, well, great question. So we see a lot of companies coming to the market showing that they have no THC or showing that they're a broad spectrum product that doesn't have THC in it. We understand that there are some customers that know what THC is objectively, and because of that, they're less comfortable with that ingredient and they worry about the reaction from the animal. But what we try to educate people on is if you think of the whole hemp plant as a pizza pie, each one of those pizza slices is going to be all the different cannabinoids. One slice is going to be THC. So what we like to tell people and what we like to educate them on is that you wouldn't buy half a pizza and pay for the full. We seem to run into the 0.1%. So we're about a third less than the legal limit. And knowing that we have no psychoactive reaction at such a low level in our system, why wouldn't we include the full plant? Why wouldn't we include all of the good ingredients that we get from that hemp plant, as long as it doesn't get our animal high or leave them in the matrix? On top of that belief, for us, we do show study-wise, science-wise, all of these things on our end. You know, everybody's welcome to their own personal opinion or their own science, but the science that we use, that we kind of keep as our Bible for our company, that science is showing that without THC, your CBD is minimally effective, if not at all. And it also shows that it forces the liver to work a lot harder because your body knows what hemp is. It doesn't know what each one of the constituents is. So to take out THC and to have a half hemp product, or to put CBD isolate into a bottle and only have CBD in there, your body doesn't fully recognize that. Your body recognizes hemp. So when we pass hemp through, hemp is easily transitioned through the liver, easily processed through the liver, and it works more efficiently.
I also did want to touch on, how did you end up getting involved in Pet Relief? Because I mean, you have a pretty amazing story with your dog. It says a lot, like like how like just how much like someone believes in the product, that they're selling is,
Yeah.
how it affects, how it has affected them personally.
My French Bulldog Franklin was about 2.5, almost 3. I come out one morning and he's not walking with his back legs, completely paralyzed from probably about your lowest rib cage in your ribs and down. So we took him to a couple of different vets. I'm a nut, so we take him to an Eastern vet at first. The Eastern vet's like, you got to go for an MRI. It's bad. Whatever it is, it's bad. So we take him to the Western vets. The Western vets do an MRI. Turns out he had a herniated disc that was compressing onto the spinal cord and rendering him completely paralyzed from, I believe it was L4, L5 down. We decide to opt in for surgery because as much as sometimes I'm not conventional with medicines, they told us it would immediately help with his pain. So we did the surgery, and for about 2 months, we did the medicines that they wanted him on. Right from the get-go, I can tell you that even if they worked, what left me very uncomfortable was the fact that at 3 years old, this dog was on 7 meds twice a day.
Right.
So yeah, I just hit a point where I was like, unless this is liquid gold and it is working well for him, why am I doing this to him so often and so much of it? We had a gentleman actually from Pet Relief reach out to me because I had expressed the issues I was having. And he just kind of simply said, hey, listen, why don't you try it? They were very honest from the get-go that nothing is guaranteed in this world and everybody reacts differently to everything. But the things that we're seeing in the space of CBD, it's really beneficial for what Frank was battling. So at about 2.5 months after his surgery, we decided to make the switch. Within the first week or two, he was standing. Went from completely paralyzed to putting weight on those 2 back legs. And it seemed like the more we took him off of the Western meds and the more we went heavier with the CBD, the more he was walking.
In today's current affairs, we tend to be very stressed out, and our animals love having us home, but they do feed off of the stress that we are having.
They're animals that live on energy completely, and the more we pace this house, the more we get frustrated, the more we get anxious. It's only going to transition into them. But even on top of that, even if you are not that believer that everything in life is energy and the animals absorb it from us, even thinking on a very basic level back to behavioralism and just dogs and cats 101, they are very, very structured animals. They like their schedules. They like their routines. They sleep for a certain amount of day. They like to get up at this time and eat. They know this is the time they're going out for the walk. This is the time they do this. Even for the cats, we know for cats, they move to a new apartment once and they're potentially going to have a UTI or peeing all over the house or changing their behavior in some other way. So now more than ever, where the fear obviously controls a lot and people want to just load up on dog food and stuff of that nature, we tell people that this is going to make a huge difference in your life.
What is the best way to reach that point? Is it that it's better to use the liquid droppers, or do you go the treat route?
I would probably recommend treats more for your lower level anxieties or your minor ailments, meaning the everyday healthy dog or cat, the minor anxieties, the minor hip and joint pains or mobility pains, but anything that you yourself, looking at you and your animal, would consider more than mild, moderate to severe, that's when you're going to want to go with the oils or with the capsules. It's just a much more concentrated product. And we can be sure of how much gets into your system too, versus with the treat, you lose a little bit of that in the digestion process. So it's a lot more concentrated, higher powered, however you want to use that wording, but it delivers to the system a lot better than the treat as well.
I would love I would love for our clients to be able to try Pet Relief, especially the ones who are on the verge of maybe wanting to try CBD but not really sure about it. What do you think we can do? What's the best way to get it in their hands?
Well, we make 2.5 ounce trial sizes. What I would love to do, Rob, is maybe to send you guys a couple of cases of them, and we can help support people that are having a ton of anxiety in the house of themselves and the animals, and are on the fence on wanting to try CBD, but are not there yet.
That would be amazing.
So we've got 6 flavors out. I will send you guys a little bit of everything, where they're going to have biscuits to choose from and some soft chews. So we'll have a little bit of options for every type of dog, every age group.
So everybody, if you want to just read the description down below and find out how to get your trial size while supplies last.
Yeah, we're here for you guys. So whatever you need.
Richie, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us about Pet Relief. I know you have a new baby, so congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in, learning something today. Hit the subscribe button down below, and we'll have more interviews to come. And make sure to check out the description to find out how to get your free bag of CBD.